well to Kerchak and her both mercenaries.
Rest in peace.
Yes, I've heard she lived right on Home Avenue. I did not know that. We learned a lot about this. That's the one thing about the podcast.
All right, we're live, Mark. Come on, let's talk it in.
Not to come in, you learn a lot of stuff about Voss, the Kerchak. How about Eddie Crosa and the Polka Kings? You know anything about them?
Eddie Jr. still performs.
Hey, we got a couple.
How's he doing on the accordion?
We're on the road again.
Yes,
so
yes, we're out at the botanical garden known as Steve Urich's country estate.
There's Steve.
One closer to the city. This is.
Here's Mark.
This is definitely.
Say hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark.
Very well.
And they're on Steve's back deck out here in Bolingbrook again.
Yeah, we're on the back side of Steve's, and we have a castle right next to us here. Little Pikes Castle. It's like Castle Grayskull without the skills for and the scary stuff.
So we didn't even really think of a topic for today at all.
Oh no, we got one.
Oh, you got one? Steve's got one.
Steve would not come into this without being properly prepared. He's a teacher.
All right.
Well, since we haven't all been together in a long time, I thought it would be, we all grew up together,
right,
but
like the Super Friends,
how
right.
much do we, really know about some of the things that have gone on in our 55 plus years of life?
Yes.
And when I was thinking about things that I could talk about you guys with, like, what did you want to do when you were young? What did you think you were going to be when you grow up? I thought I was going to be a scientist curing people of all their diseases.
How old do you think you were when you had those thoughts?
Like 10.
Wow.
5th grade.
I had squadoosh. I had, I remember race car driver, but that wasn't serious. And the fireman, that really wasn't serious. I want to say my dad died 15. I want to say by 12, I wanted to be my dad. Just working in a chemical factory, having a wife and a couple of kids. I thought he did okay. He didn't think so.
He was pissed at you for that.
Yeah, I had to only aim higher. And I thought, Christ, I thought that was high enough. What the hell?
Mark, what did you want to be?
Yeah, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I always wanted to be like an actor or a screenwriter, something in the entertainment field.
How'd that work out for you?
Well, my life is great, so don't get me wrong. But, my father was in television, and I was always thought maybe I'd do something like that.
Well, you've made it now. You're on TV.
Oh, yeah. I mean, what's on your back door here? This is
Jim, what did you want to be when you grew up?
Oh, gosh. Well, at first I was going to be an architect because my grandfather had the same initials as me. He was J.E. Hosek Architect. So I had all the stationery and signs and everything already made for me, ready to go.
About $30. That's
and then there was a brief period, I think around 4th, 5th grade, where I thought I'd be a lawyer. We did a mock trial in school, and I won the case, so I was excited about that. And then in high school, that's when I decided I wanted to be a veterinarian.
Did somebody inspire that?
No. Well, maybe all creatures great and small. That was kind of fun.
After I thought I was going to be a scientist, when I went to college, I realized my dad kept telling me the most money I could make was if I was an engineer. So I didn't think I could be a scientist because the science classes, some of them required a little more science knowledge than I thought. So engineer, I still was a math guy, so I thought that would be all right, and I could make a lot of money. When you went to college, what did you think you were going to study?
I did a business track just because I thought I've never seen a starving businessman. And we had no businessmen in our family. It was all teachers or factory workers. So I thought, well, okay, I could kind of go in business, and which is amazing because I was really horrible at math. So, you were the offset to me. I just did not have a math aptitude. And then when I got out, all of a sudden I was pretty good at math. So I think I needed to be applied. How about you, Mark? What did you want to be when you grew up?
Well, the question is, what did I start out in college? Yeah. I went in for engineering, and I became an engineer.
Oh.
So he was not distracted.
I went into engineering, but I came out a teacher, so I did not do what I started as.
Yes.
Well, I came out an engineer, but I've probably done 20% of my career has been engineering, and 80% of it's been in business.
Oh, there you go.
And Jim, you knew you were going to be a veterinarian from when?
Well, I knew in high school that's what I wanted to go into, but they'd never had a pre-veterinary curriculum at U of I because they get you in a room. I went in animal science. They say, how many people here want to be a veterinarian? Everyone raised their hands. They go 1 in 10 of you is going to make it to vet school. So we don't. That's why we don't have a pre-veterinary curriculum, because everyone would sign up for it, and then no one would get in, and then they'd have a useless pre-veterinary degree that what could they do with? So, but I figured I'd get in. So I started out in animal science, which was fun because I had to take Animal Science 101. Learned a lot of stuff about butchering animals and the history of animals, and they used to use pigs as draft animals, and this big 2,000-pound pig pulling a cart. It's crazy how big these things will get if you let them. and then I was going to switch over to honors biology my junior year, but that's when I got into vet school, so didn't have to worry about it.
And you finished vet school quicker than most people.
Yeah, I finished the whole college thing in 6 years, so got done with pre-vet and vet in 6 years. And that was there was actually 3 people in our class who got in after 2 years of undergraduate, and that was the last year they did that. Maybe spoil it for them, I guess. I don't know.
So I became a teacher, Mark became an engineer, Jim became a veterinarian. What would you say you became, Mark?
Older. I do remember having experiences towards work. I did start started out as a bank teller. I got out of college. I had no.
I do remember that.
No internships. No doors held open for me. I got my job out of the Berwyn Life at Olympic Federal Savings and Loan. But after 6 months, I always tell kids, you're trouble getting a job out of college. After it wasn't even 6 months, like 3 months, I was financial analyst for a seven institution bank, savings and loan.
Were you qualified to do that?
No, absolutely not. The funny part about it is, I guess it's all kind of a bluff, right? So I get called up to the upstairs, and my boss, Siegfried Henreiter, big finance guy, he's like, I don't know the computer at all. You're younger. You must know it completely. And I said, of course I do. I saw the desk. I'm like, baby, I'll do whatever it takes to sit here. No standing involved. And literally, he gave me, I want to say it was a Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, to figure out Excel and what we were doing, so that on Monday I could really delve into it. And I learned a lot in those 3 days, and I became like the Excel guy, or whatever. It was Lotus 123. It wasn't even Excel. Excel didn't even exist. Lotus 123. Pretty much learned everything I needed to know in 3 days, and then I became me.
Those were pretty primitive spreadsheets compared to what.
5 1/4 inch diskettes, and literally. But what I learned, and this, probably the same somewhat in teaching. You don't need to be the best. You just need to be the best in the room. Be one step ahead of everybody in the room, and you look like a genius. Like, of course you knew all this. I had no idea. I was bluffing the whole time, but I was quick, and I had ways of making it look like I was better than I was. And then, but they didn't even have a computer guy, so I became like the computer guy too. And Microsoft was really funny, because Microsoft used to have these licensing things. You buy one version of the software, and so like the Office suite or whatever came on like 40 or 50 5 1/4 inch diskettes, and we bought one version, and we loaded up everybody's computer with the one version, which is copyright infringement. And then one day, Microsoft came to the door, because we were the corporate office. Microsoft came to the door and said, of course you guys all have, we got 80 people here. You have 80 licenses, don't you? And we said, we're going to get right back to you on that. See you tomorrow. I get called into an office. I had a car at this point. I was 23, so I had my driver's license finally. I got to drive to all 7 locations in the next 2 days with licensed versions of the software. Went out and bought them all. I had them in the back of my car. I drove down to Mount Carmel, Carmi, Kankakee, Naperville, everywhere, installing licensed versions of software so we wouldn't get fined by Microsoft.
Wow. And you knew how to do that?
Yes, I did. And again, amazing that literally, they trusted you. Got in the car. I'm driving all over the place. I got, I think I spent 2 nights in hotels, and basically saved us probably $1 gazillion in fines.
Was engineering all you thought it was going to be, Mark?
No.
That's a good answer.
I didn't really. I think when I started college, I didn't really know what engineering was. Is it, sitting behind a desk, designing things? Is it, doing logistics? It can be any of those things. What I ended up doing was going into fluid dynamics, fluid systems. Basically, still the business I am in today. But really what intrigues me about it is the problem solving. It's there's an application out there that an end user has that needs solving, and it's...
You say fluid dynamics was like ketchup or something, wasn't it? Or some sort of condiment?
A lot of it is. Actually, the fluids that I deal with now are mostly foodstuffs.
Yeah.
But,
Okay.
Yeah.
Beer for a while, wasn't it?
For beer for a while, I was the brewery market manager for the company that I worked for, and called on all the major breweries and a lot of not so major breweries across the country. So got a lot of air miles and got a lot of free beer. It reminds me of the time that I had a boss that decided that he was going to come with me. It's paparazzi.
Yeah, I'm used to it, Mark. You'll get used to it. It's nature of the beast.
So he decided he was going to travel with me one day, and we toured a bunch of microbreweries through Pennsylvania and the New York area. And he kind of joked with me in the morning, I'm sure you just go to each one of these breweries and sample the wares. Ha ha ha. No, of course not. We talked about the process and what have you. And so we went to this one brewery in Frederick, Maryland, Frederick Brewing Company, and the first thing they did when I walked in the door was handed me a glass of beer, and my boss.
Best job ever.
That looked really good then.
Yeah, so I had some explaining to do with my boss in the car ride after that.
And Jim, when you became a veterinarian, was it everything you hoped it would be?
It was everything that I thought it was going to be. I had hoped to get into a surgery residency program. I did an internship after vet school at University of Pennsylvania, and I applied for residency, and I didn't get in. So I applied for jobs in the Chicago area, and I'd done a lot of work at the clinic that I own now. Being an assistant, the doctors there would let me do lots of stuff. They were letting me do surgeries while I was in vet school, so I kind of knew what practice was, and there wasn't any surprises when I got out into the real world. The biggest surprises was how jerky your bosses can be. Not everyone's as nice as the people I learned with. The guy, my first job, he signed me to a 1-year contract, and I had decided I would apply for residencies again just to see if I could get into one. I didn't even, get into one, and he fired me. He said, "No, you're not serious about working here." Whoa.
I remember that day.
Yeah. It was, and so they had to give me 3 months notice per my contract, so I hung around for 3 months. Turns out half the people I interviewed with for jobs after that had worked for this guy before. And they said, "Oh, Dr. All fired you? You must be good." And they would offer me jobs on the spot. But that's when I started doing my relief work job. So before I decided to take a job, there was one guy said, "I just need someone to fill in for next week. Can you want to come in?" I said, "Sure." So I started doing that, and I put an ad out, and I did that for 4 years. I did relief work. And that was a pretty amazing way of practicing, because one, I got to see all these different practices and hospitals and how they worked and how they did things, which I think was a big help when I bought my own practice. But I'd make my own schedule. I was working 3 weeks a month. So I was basically taking about 12 weeks vacation a year and making more money than I was working full-time in this other clinic. And I remember I would keep raising my rates every time someone called me until I found a spot where someone said, that might be too much. And I go, okay, now I know how much to charge people. And I got to charge for mileage too, which was fun. So I'd go to a place that was 50 miles away. I'd charge them $1 a mile one way. So I got an extra $50 a day just to drive.
Wow.
Pretty fun.
Did you go to the Cayman Islands to do that?
I did. I took a relief job. I was doing relief work for a couple of years, and then I saw this job in the bulletin for this filling in at this Cayman Islands practice. And that was my second job I got fired from. So
how long did that last?
I lasted 6 months.
That's pretty good.
I was supposed to be there for a year.
Yeah.
And the thing was, I took the job, and the guy who was interviewing said, "Oh, we're building this new clinic. It'll be done when you get there. You can have all this wonderful new equipment and stuff." And I get down there, and they hadn't even started renovating the house that they bought for the practice. So I was pretty pissed. And they had all this brand new equipment sitting in Miami waiting to be installed, and they had this ancient equipment at the clinic that I already had. I said, well, why don't you send the equipment down? We could pull it in here and start using it. Oh, we'd have to reinstall it. I go, yeah, but it's going to take you a year to finish this building. You haven't started anything. Let me at least start using it. And I written a letter to the shareholders, and they got a little bit mad at that. So I said,
Did people bring in their sick manta rays? And
No, it was cats and dogs. I did do some parrots. I did a eye surgery on a cockatoo. It had hurt its eye, so I had to remove its eye. And at that time, we didn't have prosthetic eyes for cockatoos, but it worked very well. But I'd see maybe about 8 patients a day. Had no television there. There was radio. There was one radio station called Radio Cayman. And in the evening, they would replay the Parliament sessions, which was really hilarious because it was like basically British Parliament, but in a miniature scale. These people yelling at each other. And some of the people would come into the clinic, and I'd take care of their pets. Like, oh, I heard you on the radio last night. They go, oh, yeah, that was terrible. And then I went to the library, and I was reading on average, about 5 books a week. So I read over 100 books by the time I was done with my 6-month stint there. The really neat thing was when I got there, they hadn't arranged for my work permit. So even if I wanted to work, I couldn't. So it was owned by these 26 shareholders, and every 2 weeks they would come down and you'd rotate through. So the guy who was down there for that time said, well, if you can't work, let's go get some scuba lessons in. So we went and we did a week's worth of scuba lessons. So I got my scuba certification.
Great.
And then every 2 weeks, these vets, in order to write off their trip, they would go and they'd work for the clinic Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So I'd get a 4-day weekend every 2 weeks. So then Thursdays I would go out on the dive boat. So I'd go out for 2 dives in the morning and another dive in the afternoon. And the guys there, they knew I was veterinarian. They called me Doc. I'd get on the boat. They'd say, hey, where do you want to go now? Because there's like over 100 different dive sites you could go to. So I'd pick ones I hadn't been to. And it was fun.
How could you get fired?
Because they didn't like that I was making noise. I was pointing out this guy who was managing the practice had been lying to all the other veterinarians about how things were going. And when I had revealed that he had been doing this, that made a lot of trouble for him. So he got rid of me.
Oh, that's terrible.
Yeah, I was stupid. I was naive. I was thinking, boy, if I ask for something, maybe I'd get it. And what they promised me, doesn't work that way.
He cut the limb he was standing on. He trimmed himself.
Yep, that was basically it. Yeah, so I cut the branch out from underneath me, and
so the whole time he's in the Caymans, spearing lobsters and diving and all that. I'm at the house in Elmhurst, wrangling, renters.
The house I had bought one day before I left.
Right, he closed on it one day before he got on the plane, so I got installed in the basement. And we had renters and college kids and cats. And
was it near college?
Yeah, Elmhurst College. We were right on York and North, right by Hamburger Heaven.
Oh, yeah.
I only went to, I lived in that house 10 years. I only went to Hamburger Heaven like 3 times. So
same with me.
I was not a huge fan of. I don't know. I think they thought they were expensive or something. I don't remember. Really, you'd think I could just stumble over there, but
That was Ken's World of Video. When I came back, that was a staple.
Yeah.
Video rentals.
The house was many things. It had all this wallpaper on it. We really didn't. We left it all in its original state pretty much. He added the dormers. I remember going on the roof with your dad.
Well, your big project when I was gone to get the basement finished, put the bathroom in, and
no, I was there for the bathroom.
No, but you had to get that done while I was gone.
No.
Or was that the roof?
I think you were back. I remember them cracking the foundation, and that's where we found that the sewer stack was not in alignment with the sewer running out to the street. And as soon as a friend of my mom, a friend of the family that did that work, and as soon as they cracked the foundation, it was like an open porta potty. You could smell it from outside the house. It was a bit strong.
I'm glad I was gone for that.
So I think you were there.
I don't think so.
20% of the stuff was going to the street. 80% was going under the house. Stuff, Mark. It's a science term. We're going to call that Stickney sludge. And when we cracked into it, it was like the Hellmouth. I mean, it was really surreal.
Well, I think we'll spend an episode on the Elmhurst house,
yes,
but I'd like to stick to maybe the lives that we've created for ourselves in these 55 plus years. And I had a great career. I had 33 years teaching, part of it at my alma mater, Morton West, where we went to. And I loved it. I absolutely had a great time.
Teaching what, though?
I taught math. mostly freshmen through seniors or freshmen through juniors, getting them ready for their testing. So then I got an opportunity to go to Riverside Brookfield. So I felt like I had a pretty broad kind of career, and I enjoyed every minute of it. But if I wasn't going to be a teacher, I think I would have done something where I could have been a little more theatrical, maybe on stage or on TV or doing something like that. If you weren't going to be an engineer, Mark, what would you have wanted to do? What would be your dream job?
Yeah, well, I would have liked to have done something in the performing arts. I don't know what that is. When I was in grade school, I thought that I would like to go into acting. And then I met the acting people in high school, and I said,
Lesbians, the poinsettia people? Are we talking about poinsettia?
Were we friends with any of them?
I don't know that we were, but I something into the entertainment industry that probably fascinated me.
Mark, if you weren't going to be Mr. Spreadsheet, what would you be doing?
Here's the thing, folks, because all these guys have what we call stability. They've had a job for 30-some odd years. They all seem. I am not that. I am the alternative to that. So I've had actually like 30 careers over the years, 30 different times. And so I've actually lived it. I became a traveler and traveled the world. I absolutely love that part of me. It's kind of like when you need a forest fire to roast acorns so that they will germinate. And once I found travel, and it just popped. And this is it. This is talking. This is my life as a traveler. Is that other life? So I'm actually doing it. And when I come home and I can actually still do a spreadsheet, it is the best of both worlds. I love spreadsheets. I love travel. I'm living it. There's no alternative life. It is. My life is the life. Yeah. Jim? What would you be?
Oh boy!
When you grow up, Jim, what do you want to be?
I still do, and I'd like to be a writer. And I guess I am a writer because I write.
You've got books. You're published, right?
I'm self-published with a couple books, but I'm not. Right now I have a literary agent, and I've been writing these veterinary mysteries. And the first one I wrote, she took around. We got a lot of good comments from editors, but they said not quite what we're looking for, but we want to see the next one that you do. So I wrote the next one, and this was during COVID and cancer and all that stuff. So I finally finished it and sent it off to her, and then she got busy, so she's finally reading it now. So I don't know if that's ever going to happen, but I enjoy it. I mean, I do it every day. I'm trying to get back into some short stories. I've been concentrating a lot on the novels, but I've written like 4 of these novels already, half of another one. And I think I've written probably close to about 30 or 40 short stories over the years. One of them got published. That was exciting.
Awesome. Will you include a link to those where we can...
Well, right now, because I'm trying to get the interest of regular publishers, I don't have any self-published stuff out there. In terms of the mystery stuff, the golf novel is out there, so that one people can get. So I could put a link to that. Yeah, it's called A Really Good Day, and it's about this guy who's an amateur golfer, and he was playing to try and get into this tournament, and he didn't make it. The guy who did make it ended up breaking his arm the day before the tournament, so he gets called in as an alternate. And if you've ever, had these amazing shots when you're golfing, you go, boy, I wish I could do that every hole. He basically has amazing shots every single hole. And he gets to the 9th hole, and first he was ranked last, and he's ranked at the top, so they pair him up with the best player in the tournament, and they go head-to-head. And it's really kind of neat. I wrote it when my wife was pregnant with our first child, so it was the guy's wife's pregnant too, so that kind of plays into the story as well.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah,
So in your veterinary series, and when they make it into a series for TV, who's going to play the lead?
That's a good question. Originally I had the guy looking somewhat like Oliver Platt, so I think he's a little too old for the role, so I have to find somebody who's kind of got that round face, dark hair, sideburns.
Jack Black?
Jack Black is a little old, but he could do it. There was one guy, he was in the series Utopia. He looked kind of like he could be young Oliver Platt look-alike. So
Very good. Well, I taught high school for 33 years, and of course, when you're in high school, you don't know how it's benefiting you. The kids always say, "Why are we here? What are we doing?" What did high school do for you, Mark?
It was a platform for me to understand how to control people. I was voted best male punk rocker of my senior class and most bizarre. So when you think about those two things then and where I'm at now, it's just a launching pad. There was nothing that went on in high school that I did not perfect by the time I got to college. When I walked off this graduation stage in college, they were chanting, "Jewy, Jewy." The whole band was chanting. So if there's ever any doubt as to what impact I had on those various youths of college, I left my mark, and I've continued to do so. So now I am Chewy Santa, keeper of all stories. So yeah, I just think high school was a launching pad. Some people high school is the highest point in their career. I just went on to other things.
Mark, what did high school do for you?
What did high school do for me? Obviously, it gives you an education, but that's not necessarily the most important. I mean, book learning. I think the most important thing that high school did was kind of give me a better exposure to the world. I think when you're up until grade school, you're kind of in a somewhat sheltered life, and your world view is kind of dictated by your parents. And
you got to get on the school bus, right? And then you see some stuff on the school bus,
then you
and
get
you're
on the
like,
school
"Hey,
bus, and then you
what
get
the
into
hell?"
gym class, and then you get to see some of the real world, and then you grow up with that, and you deal with different types of people. It really exposed me to the world, the life, and I think that was the most important thing.
Growing up Lions in Brookfield.
Jim, what did you get out of high school? You said you already knew what you wanted to do partway through high school. What did you get out of high school that helped you?
Was it the pennies?
yeah, all those pennies I picked up in Hallmark. Yeah, that was great. Great experience. What did I get out of high school? That's a really good question. I think the best thing is a bigger group of friends. I had a great group of friends in grade school, and they followed me to high school, and through band and orchestra and music and stuff, just got people that I've known for all my life now. That's we're still in touch. We're still seeing each other. That's probably what I think I got the most out of it. The other stuff, the education and all that stuff, could have gotten any place, anytime, anywhere. My wife went to a high school with 4 kids in her class, so I think one of them's dead.
Wah, wah.
Good bumpity, 25% mortality.
Well, she has 50% of the class meets every week, so that's pretty nice for her. I think having a twin brother in band was very helpful to me, because through him a lot of his friends became my friends. And I wasn't in band, I was in orchestra. And orchestra was, we were like the lower class of the music program.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Band was where the fun stuff was.
Tuba, trombone, baritone.
Jeez.
What's going on back there?
So in the last week or so, Branson and Bezos went to space. Do we call that going to space? Did they go to space? Are they spacemen? Are they astronauts?
If Alan Shepard is an astronaut, then that defines you breaking that, I forget the name of the line, that defines what outer space is.
Yeah, I don't remember what it is, but I know what you're talking about.
And they both broke that line, so if that's the definition, yes, technically that they are astronauts.
I think they recently changed the definition.
Are they
to
spacemen or astronauts? I guess
they had to go up and they had to complete a mission for NASA to give them their wings, so they didn't get their astronaut wings. One of the definitions I heard, which I think is a much better definition for astronaut, is orbiting the Earth once.
Well, then is Alan Shepard and Gus Grissom astronauts? Really?
Did they ever go up in orbit in another mission?
I think they
In
got
another mission,
grandfathered in.
yes, not
Yes.
the first mission. Gus,
Then they are.
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
But they weren't after their first.
It's lifetime achievement. Yeah, they add the two together.
No, I would, in my if that was my definition, I would say that would not be an astronaut.
The Carmen line, I just recalled.
Oh, very
Oh,
good.
did it come to you, Mark? Oh, that's cool.
It came to me.
Nothing came
like
to me over here. Carmen line.
Oh.
I think
So I would not call them astronauts. until they actually get up there and make an orbit.
Would you call them spacemen? They've been to space?
I don't think they've actually been to space where they've been outside the Earth's atmosphere completely. There's still some atmosphere where they were. So because it thins out. And the atmosphere actually goes up pretty high. The space station, you can still detect very minuscule parts of atmosphere up there, but it's very, very, very small. So I don't think you can call them spacemen. I think you can call them suborbital flight people. I don't know.
Well, good, because I was going to buy the ticket. It's only $250 million. I was going to dump on that and just get me one. But now...
No, I think it's 500,000 or something like that.
If you didn't have to pay for it and they offered you a trip, would you do what they did?
I would be the Martian. I would leave me on Mars. I would be the Martian. Among everybody else here has family. They have some reason to be. I do not. I am so ready to go.
No, I'm
go
with
here,
you, Mark.
go now.
I'm up there with you.
No, you got a family to come down.
And now it doesn't matter. Kids are ready to go. College is paid for.
No, you got reasons to be here, Teresa.
Okay, you don't get to decide if I get to go.
Yeah, I'm going to say I'm not taking you.
First of all,
your parents are still
I
alive.
probably could afford to pay for it. I don't know if you could afford to pay for it right now.
Wow. So, if you had a chance without having to pay for it, if you had a chance to go for free to stay 1 week at the space station, would you stay a week?
I'd go now. This afternoon, I would drive there now.
Mark, would you stay a week at the space station?
I would. If I was physically fit for the job, absolutely.
It would drive me bananas to be trapped in a place that small.
But would you go on a cruise ship, Steve?
I would go on a cruise ship.
I would not go on a cruise. I'd rather be in a space capsule.
But I'd prefer to be on a cruise ship that wasn't out in the middle of nowhere. I'd prefer the kind of cruise I took, which was on a river where I could always see land.
Yeah, I have been to Antarctica. I tell you, I did not like the boat at all. I felt so trapped.
I don't know if that was a cruise ship. That was a ship that you cruised on to Antarctica.
I was on an overnighter from Barcelona to Algiers, Morocco, and I tell you, that was a cruise ship, and that was nasty. That was not good.
That sounds
I'm
more
not,
like
I'm not a boat guy. I am terrestrial or space. Space is great to me. I could be up in the air. I've been in a hot air balloon, plenty of flights. I'm cool with it. The boat is not my thing.
All right, so our last question is very important to how humanity is thought of by us. Pizza, beef, or chicken? You can have one, but you can never eat the other two. Pizza, beef, or chicken? You can have one.
That's easy. It's pizza. I put whatever toppings I want on it.
If I
I'll
eat
go with pizza.
two of those three, it's supposed to kill me. Are we wiping that out? Like
yes.
I could eat this
is
and
it
not
strictly for the enjoyment of
right?
the food,
Not the culinary I'm about to have.
Oh, entirely up to you.
I mean, because you probably shouldn't eat any three of them. But
pizza,
there I am,
beef,
right there,
or chicken.
There I found myself with all three on my plate. I'm a pizza guy. I could be that. The beef, I think, it slows me down.
Like a good steak. You can't have a good steak ever again. You can cut up beef and put it on your pizza if you want.
Yeah, I'm okay with not having it. I need so much chicken, I almost got wings. I mean,
But you can cut up meat and put it on your chicken, or on your pizza. Not.
I've had some amazing pizzas. I'd go with pizza.
Yeah, I'm thinking.
I think pizza is a superfood.
I think it is.
Mark,
I find
have
it
you weighed
super
in?
every time I have
I haven't weighed in. Well, I don't know that I could. I like steak. I think I'd have to. I mean, I like pizza too. These parts of the pizza. When you get into
you ever been to one of those Brazilian meat places, Mark? I'd like to take you there. I just want to watch you eat a steak.
They cut it off.
Yeah.
And serve it. Yeah.
I'm big in. I only did it once, but I was awed by the process.
It was good, yeah.
Of course, that was all when I had a functioning heart, and I think now. But death by beef is not a bad way to go.
I've been to Fogo de Chao a couple times. Amazing experience. You eat till you get sick, basically. Now that I don't have a pylorus, it just goes right through. I can
I was going to say, Jim, you look so much thinner without your pylorus. I was just going to comment on that.
Surprised I didn't notice when he walked in.
Yeah, it's written on his face. I have no pylorus.
Well,
This is the first time I've mentioned it all day, so I think I get a little credit for that.
Those are the burning questions that I had for
I'm
the
missing a
group
lot
today.
of stuff, Jim, and I don't have a list of what I missed.
If you have something else, otherwise, Jim, that's all I wanted to know.
Yeah.
Well,
no,
that's
we-
about a half hour. I think it's a good place to wrap up.
Yeah, let's cap it, bottle it, label it, send it away.
And edit it.
Okay.